Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today's episode is just some latest news. There's been some injuries and there's a suspension that happened. Before we get to that, Lance, how are you doing? How are you feeling about your Eagles?
Andrew, I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to show this really quick, just because I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Is that coming through?
Yes.
That is the image I woke up to. Not woke up to, but I walked out to this morning as I was on my way upstairs to do our podcast. So
Wow.
apparently, my dog's bed is really comfy. Um,
Looks like a great pillow.
yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was too funny to not share. I
Uh-huh.
was not expecting that at all. So anyway, I just thought that was pretty funny.
That's
Um,
great.
you gotta cherish those moments, man. But I'm feeling pretty good.
Hmm.
Feel pretty good about my Eagles. We got to talk about the trade news. I don't know if you heard about the trade the Eagles made.
Yeah, for sure. We can start
Um,
with that if you want.
yeah. Earlier this week, the Eagles made a trade for one of the Raiders' cornerbacks. I think it's Jacorian Bennett. Yeah, that's just want to make sure I got
Hmm.
his name pronunciation correct. And this is kind of surprising. We didn't get to this person. Kind of slipped the back of my mind, but Thomas Brooker. Um, I told you before that there's a couple people I was high on. One of them was uh, um, Moro Ojema, I think. Ojemo. They keep changing the pronunciation on this guy's name. Like literally, if you look back on the Eagles website, it's changed almost every year. But as of right
That's
now,
not
it's
helpful.
Moro Ojemo. So that's the
Okay.
guy that's kind of taking the starting reps. But Thomas Booker, there's a couple of moments last year I was like, wow, this guy has potential. So
Hmm.
I am really bummed to see him go. But they traded for Jacorian. He's got some starting experience. People keep showing all these clips. This is the one part I wanted to mention about the Jacorian Bennett thing that's funny. In truth, I did not get to watch much of the Eagles game last night because I was busy with some other things. I did see the moment though where Jamar Chase absolutely torches Keely Ringo, who's competing to be the starter for cornerback.
Mm.
Looked awful. Looked really bad. And the
Hmm.
ironic part is that there's a clip last year from Jacorian Bennett covering Jamar Chase and breaking up a pass that would have been a touchdown if Bennett didn't
Interesting.
have better coverage. So just a little prediction by me, but we're going to see some comments on social media that following this game about Keely was never that good. Why is this guy starting? But yeah, not an encouraging moment. I mean, I know he would not be given Jamar Chase to cover if Keely was number two, because
Right, right.
but I guess that kind of depends though, because there's no official word on if Quinyon Mitchell is going to travel to both sides of the field. Is he going to strictly play one side of the field? But
Hmm.
clearly, the Eagles made this move for a cornerback because they're not super happy about CB2. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I am nervous about that part. Everything else, I feel great. I feel great about the offense. I feel great about Jalen Hurts. I feel great about Saquon Barkley. Um, but yeah, that one, it's a wait and see. So I like the move. Thomas Booker, they only had 1 year left on the deal. Jacorian, now they'll have 2 years on the deal. So it's a great contract move because Jacorian was a fourth round pick. So not super expensive of a salary to work with. Dawson didn't give up any trade assets, which is like crazy to me. It's crazy how he has like, 14, 13 different draft picks for next year. He's not touching any of them. So
Hmm.
this kind of felt like a move though, where watch for the end of August. If Keely Rico continues to struggle and they're not happy with his performance, they might double dip. They might go back and try to get a more CJGJ-esque type player.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, there's a couple guys still out there in free agency. I think there's Rasal Douglas is still out there. Asante Samuel Jr. is still out there, but
yeah.
I think there might be some legit concerns with his injury last year. Um, there's Stephon Gilmore. He's still out there. He'd be fine as a
Oh
two
yeah.
or a three.
Yeah.
So there's some names out there. Unfortunately, Isaiah Rogers is not out there.
I gotta be honest, man. I if um if someone could have told me we could have had Isaiah Rodgers for 1 year, 5 million, I would have taken it in a heartbeat. I'd be that GIF. Shut up and take my money. That's who I would have
Mm-hmm.
been about the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it.
Yep.
Um, but we didn't. I don't know. I'm not the guy handling the budget. I'm not the guy handling the
Mm-hmm.
salary cap. So I got to leave that to Howie. Um,
Yeah.
overall, I th
And another thought on that is Rodgers might have wanted to be kind of guaranteed to start
mhm,
because with the Eagles, there's competition for the two at least, and
yeah,
maybe even the three. With Minnesota, they have a one, and then everything's wide open. So he might have said, "Hey, I want play in time."
yeah,
That might have been a deciding factor.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I think it could have been a long-term answer. The hard part is that it's all about money. You got Cooper DeJean that will have
Yep.
to get paid. You've got Quinyon Mitchell. You've got Jalen Carter.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, there's a lot of people that would have been Nolan Smith. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, the list could go on and on of Reed Blankenship. There's a lot of people that you'd have to figure out. So, but there's good things, bad things. Linebacker room looks amazing. It looks probably the deepest it's looked in my 20 plus years of
Yeah.
being an Eagles fan. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever felt this good.
I don't know if there's another team with a better linebacking core than what the Eagles got. They're
Yeah, well,
definitely top three.
I
Easy.
mean, if Nakobe Dean comes back healthy, I mean that's a great problem to have Jahad
Hmm.
Campbell, Jacoby Dean. I've heard good things about Smile Mondon. I think Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a fine,
Hmm.
good linebacker. But I mean, that's like your fifth linebacker. So, great situation there right now. So we'll see on everything else. But my antennas are up, Andrew. I am concerned about CB2. We've had issues in the past, and
Hmm.
that has been the difference between being able to compete or not because we just can't cover the second guy. So
But hey, y'all won the game because the Bengals defense is probably the worst in the league. I think Tanner McKee had what, three touchdowns or something?
yeah, Tanner McKee looked really good. I mean, but um, I'm glad the Eagles finally made the decision to say, hey, let's move on to this guy. There's no need to keep
Hmm.
Kenny Pickett. I think
Hmm.
I think Tanner McKee is going to be a starter in 2 years from now. That's my prediction.
Okay. Not for the Eagles, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that that's going to be the best case scenario. Someone's going to want Tanner McKee. Someone's going to pay. I don't know who that's going
Hmm.
to be, but if he continues to look this good, I
Yeah.
mean, incredible, incredibly gifted quarterback. So we'll see. But yeah, going toe to toe with the Bengals starting group, and looking competent and successful. One part I did, like I said, I still got to dig into more notes, so I'll probably have more the next time we hop on. But
Yeah.
the Eagles' backup offense did really good against the starting defense of the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's always a good barometer. But this shouldn't be a surprise to people. I don't think it got enough appreciation, but Week 18 last year, I was really excited for the Eagles to play the Giants because I knew they were going to play all their backups. And I thought,
Hmm.
this is a great game to test how great of a team you are. Um, and they
Yeah.
came
Depth
out
is very
and
important.
looked
Hmm.
really incredible. I mean, I brought up the note to you and we kind of laughed about it, but I didn't like how the Chiefs played against the Broncos. My antenna was up of like, that's bad. You should
Yeah.
not get swept. If you're getting swept, that means your reserves are not good. Um,
Hmm.
so I am still concerned about that for the Chiefs in some areas, especially on defense, because it you're only as good as your depth. So because there's going to be moments you're going to have to
Yeah.
plug people in. There's going to be
Injuries
hamstrings.
happen. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. There are some areas on the Vikings that depth is a concern. One is backup center because Ryan Kelly is awesome. He's awesome, but he is older and he has been a little dinged up in the past. And in training camp, he has a little elbow thing going on, but Minnesota's always extra cautious. If this was a game, he'd be playing, but still, backup center is important because can you expect Ryan Kelly to play all 17 games? I don't think so. You're hoping for 14-ish. So a couple games, you're gonna have some kind of competent backup. And then our secondary, there's some spots that depth is a concern. Kind of sneakily, our best depth right now might be our D line because of the
Hmm.
guys we picked up and our young guys last year are developing and it's looking good. But yeah, depth is very important.
Yeah, and on that note, we talked about injuries. I don't think people are watching this Matt Stafford injury. Um,
Mm,
this
mm,
gives me Christian McCaffrey vibes. I just we'll see if Matt Stafford can come back, but getting an epidural to treat the pain does not sound like a long-term solution. Um,
hmm
it's August. This thing's going to be going on until
hmm
January. I don't like those prospects, and I continue to wonder this, Andrew. I mentioned this to you earlier, but I don't understand why they still have not addressed the QB position in Los Angeles. What are you
Yeah.
waiting for?
Yeah.
You
They should be
knew.
drafting one.
Well, it's just like, you can't tell me that Jimmy G is your seriously who you think is going to be able to push you over.
Hmm
I think,
Yeah. And what's their future? Because Stafford has what, maybe 2 years left at best.
yeah.
And then Jimmy G is the same scenario. He's old. Who's their
Well,
future?
and he's definitely peaked. The Super Bowl, even the Super Bowl, Jimmy G was, you
Oh
know,
yeah. hmm
what, 6, 7 years ago. So,
hmm
I mean, you're well past that heyday. This is not someone that's top quality backup. More than
Right.
anything, just kind of like a backup right now. So I guess I just kind of compare, right? The Eagles didn't have to draft Tanner McKee, didn't have to draft Kyle McCord from Syracuse, but they continued with that eye of like, we have to be prepared for
hmm
the inevitable. And I don't know. If Stafford's out for even 4 games, chances I think for the Rams to be successful goes down dramatically because
Oh yeah.
the
That
whole
that it's
team.
a bad. Yeah.
And I know they just signed Williams to an extension, and props. I think Williams is a
Yeah.
fine running back,
Yeah.
but I
And
think
the deal wasn't too expensive either, so it
no.
was good all the way around.
But that's not a guy that you could be your bell cow. He's not someone that you're gonna, lean on to really win a game. I think he's just more of a competent uh, pass catcher slash little bit of a sideline to sideline runner type guy. A little bit up the middle, but I don't think he's a big beefy back in the sense that
Right.
other running backs are. So yeah, I just was mentioning that because that was one injury I just looked at and I thought, that makes me a little
hmm
nervous for them. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And Stafford's not young. He's one of the toughest players in the league, but he's old. When you're getting some serious injuries when you're old, you just can't recover like you used to. And that is concerning. And I know that he's a savvy veteran, but chemistry is important. They're going to start out the first couple weeks a little bit sluggish probably because he can't practice because he's dealing with an injury right now.
yeah, yeah. Well, should we get to the Slater news from the other
I
Los Angeles
yeah.
teams?
Yeah, that really sucks for them because they had looking like one of the best O lines in football. They just went got becked in from you guys. They had two really stud tackle duos, and then they just re-signed Slater to a massive contract, well deserving, great for the team because he's probably some people might think he's the best tackle in the league. I wouldn't say he's that high, but he is in that conversation for sure because he's awesome. But unfortunately, I think it was just a non-contact simple drill in practice, which happens all the time. Tore his patella tendon, and he is going to be done for the year. That is a huge blow for that team. I know that they'll have someone slide into a spot, but tackle is probably the most important spot on the O line. You can maybe say center, but tackle is vital for those really talented edge rushers, and you have to pick them up. And now they're going to have a backup tackle who is a question mark. So now defenses are going to key off, say, hey, we're going to send two guys on that one side. And Justin Herbert better be prepared to get the ball out quick. That's all I got to say. That's really big news for them. If they lost their starting like left guard, okay, that's bad, but you can live with kind of your interior meshing together to kind of pick up the slack. I know very well as a Vikings fan because our interior has been awful for years and we've kind of got by with it. But your tackles, those are just so important.
Yeah, I think the one that part I'm interested is moving forward is Pimpkins, the former right tackle starter for the Chargers. Sounds like slotted to go back to the right tackle, and then Alt would float over to the left.
Hmm.
Um, the part I'm always curious about is one, um, can Pipkins really step back in to be the right tackle? Because he was
Hmm.
before. What's that going to look like? How much can you really expect him to really give you competent play? The second part I always wonder about is, for example, Lane Johnson is in my mind the best right tackle in football right now. He has his own tackle university. He's well known for that.
Hmm.
He's given lots of great starters trouble. Um, he had a game against TJ Watt last year that he absolutely just locked down TJ Watt.
Hmm.
And a lot of Eagles fans took notice of that. Like, wow, he's just still so incredible, even in his mid 30s. So, but anytime he's floated to the left side of the field for the Eagles, he's just still not quite as good. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of just think of it as like, if you're a right-handed person using your left hand, a lot of right-hand
Hmm.
people can do it, but how effective can you do it? Does it look seamless?
Yeah.
Does it
It's
look a
real
little
thing.
wonky?
Hmm.
So I'm curious with alt switching to the other side, what's that going to look like? Because it's very different, switching from dealing with
Hmm.
pressure coming to the right side of your body to the left. Um,
Hmm.
which foot does he lead with? If he's right-footed, might
Right.
be a little hard switching to the left side because your kick foot, as far as going backwards, you're really leaning on your left side.
A lot
So
of technique. Yeah.
I'm going to really be watching that one to see what that looks like, and maybe there's their team to watch for a trade candidate. Maybe there'll be a tackle out there that becomes available. We'll have to see.
Hmm.
Um, I don't
Yeah.
imagine they're going to stay put though. I think they're going to try to find someone that can step
Yeah,
in and
because they've been in the conversation of being a sort of sleeper team in the AFC. I don't think I bought into that fully, but that was that conversation. And you know that them themselves are thinking that they're a Super Bowl caliber team. Most teams think that going in a training camp, maybe kind of doing your fans and your team injustice if you didn't think that you had a legit shot. So yeah, I could see that just like Minnesota did last year. Whenever Darisaw went down in the Rams game, we made a move. The move wasn't awesome. We did okay with a replacement, but
you're talking about Cam Robinson, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Cam Robinson, yeah, he was okay. He had a couple decent games. Couple games was like, but better than what we had on the team. And he came in, did his best, and we had success with that. Not a Christian Darisaw, but he was fine. And now he's got a decent contract with the Texans. So,
I'm still trying to understand what the Texans think they're doing. I just,
hmm.
I mean, to me, I feel like teams I really feel like they underestimate the line consistently as far as, in their plans for the
Hmm.
future. I mean, like, the Chargers, for example, this is the type of move that takes you from a 12 to 13 win team to a 8-win team. Um,
Possible. Yeah.
let me just find this because I always find this interesting. The Eagles have a 15-23 record without Lane Johnson.
Hmm.
That just tells you everything you need to know. And this is a little dated, but back in 2017, when the Eagles drafted Carson Wentz, they were really excited to have Lane Johnson as their right tackle. And then he got busted for the performance enhancing suspension, and that cratered the team. We were never the same. So
Hmm.
I just look at that a little bit of the Texans too, right? Because they moved on from their previous starting tackle now
Tunsil. Yeah. Laramie
o-
Tunsil. Yep.
over in Washington. And what's this going to do? I mean, this is the type of stuff that just
It's
the
under the
AFC West is
radar.
so good, Andrew. Like this move,
Hmm.
literally, I think takes me from saying that the Raiders might be the clear number three to the Chargers being the number four. I don't know. I don't like these types of bad
That's
things happening.
that's fair. That's fair. They're closer. I would still say the Chargers are better than the Raiders, but it's a conversation. It's definitely closer. If the Raiders make a move for a receiver, then I would say for sure I put them over. I still have little concerns with the receiver depth, but you're not off base at all. It is a conversation to say who is 3 and 4 now, because it used to be people were talking about who's 1 and 2 between the Chargers and Chiefs. That conversation's dead now. It's who's number one between the Chiefs and Broncos. I still give the edge to the Chiefs. Broncos are coming. They're close. And then I think now the Broncos are easily above the Chargers. I I don't think that's a full conversation anymore. I think the 1 and 2 are set. Now, like you said, who's 3? To me, it's still the Chargers, but it's a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like the Chargers have been very proactive in really trying to revamp this team. I feel like they're trying to take a long-term
Hmm.
approach, and we'll see. We'll see how this turn spans out. I could be totally wrong, and they could work long term. I just, it's a lot tougher to sustain success than have a flash in the pan. And I think last
Hmm.
year to me was more of a flash in the pan.
I kind of
Um,
agree. Yeah.
um, I don't know. I just that playoff performance was so horrible.
Yep.
It could not have gone much worse. It just, I mean, everyone was insinuating that it was going to be a walk-in. They're just going to go
Hmm.
in, steal this game, or not steal this game, but go in and beat up on the Texans and move on to the next round, and then let's focus on, Chiefs and Chargers or Bills and Chargers, however it would have worked
Hmm.
out. But yeah, I mean, I just think that it's going to be interesting. I'm not, I, you know, I didn't really feel like that they were a top 10 team, and I'm still feeling that way. I'm not seeing the long term
Yeah.
plan here. I, they have a great running back that they're bringing in, Amari and Hampton. I think that it's a great
Hmm.
solid addition. That receiver core, it can't just be Lad McConkey.
I
And
agree. I agree.
and and the difference I'd say between the Raiders and the Chargers is I just don't think the NFL understands how good Ashton Genty is. There was a report, I don't know if you saw it, Jordan Schultz came out with a report saying that shouldn't be any surprise, but Ashton Genty is amazing even as teammates and coaches. And if you
Hmm.
amaze the teammates and coaches that you're working with, it just, to me, that's a good indicator that you're even better than they thought you could be.
Hmm.
And I get it. Things could work out. He could get an injury. Things could happen. He's someone I feel like could be the bell cow for Los Angeles. And having Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, I mean, I like what the Raiders are doing. I really think that they're
Yeah.
moving in a good direction. And Geno Smith he's a good Alex Smith type quarterback.
Yeah.
Steady the ship, get you back on track.
Hmm.
Eventually have to get your number one guy, really, but he can absolutely fill that spot and play confident football. He's better than Derek Carr to me. Um, I would say he's
Hmm.
better than Sam
Hmm.
Darnold. Um, and if like that, those were the alternatives, right? Because it used to be Derek Carr. It could have been Sam Darnold. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. We shall see. Um, yeah, that AFC West is going to be interesting. I would still say the Chargers have a better defense than the Raiders, which I think that's the deciding factor for me, because offenses are kind of
Hmm.
a wash in a way. The I think the Chargers have the better quarterback, the better number one receiver, but then the Raiders have the better running back and the better tight end. So it's kind of a wash, but the defense is the deciding factor for now, because I think the Chargers defense were the number one in the league as far as scoring defense last year, which that's kind of skewed because they ran the ball so much. They had less time for the other offense to have the ball, but that does factor. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Another injury to talk about, and man, the Lions just keep on getting hurt. They got hurt so much last year. They already lost their starting D tackle, and now they lost probably their third string, maybe second string corner. And Rakestraw Jr. He had a shoulder issue in one of the practices. They took a look at it, and it was severe, and he's shut down for the year, season-ending IR. And man, you never wish any injuries, even against a very, very bad rival who has all the hype in the world, but things just keep piling up for him. I don't know. My thought that they might miss the playoffs. I'm not saying it yet, but I wouldn't be shocked because of everything piling up on them, and they have a very brutal schedule. I know that the Vikings and the Packers, Lions, they all have the same schedule. The difference is, though, Minnesota plays those tough teams at home. The Lions play those tough teams on the road. That's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. So I don't know. I still will pick them to win the division just because they're the defending champs of the division. They still have a lot of talent on offense. And it'd be silly of me just to say that, nope, they're not going to get it. But man, I would not be surprised. That's all I'm going to say. There's a lot piling up on that Lions team right now.
Well, and the other thing too, I always think about is they might have similar schedules, but they don't have the same schedule. They don't. There's
There's
definitely
always three
distinct.
games. There's always
And,
three games that are different.
let me tell you, those three games can make a huge difference between going to the playoffs or
hmm
not.
I think
I
the
mean,
Lions have the Chiefs. The Vikings will have the
and they have the
Chiefs. So,
Eagles. That's going to be. Or actually,
hmm
do the Lions play the? No, I don't think the Lions play the Vikings play the Eagles this year. Do they? Oh no, they do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, both the
Um,
divisions play each other. So yeah, the
where's
Lions
the
have the
difference at?
Commanders as well. I know the Chiefs is one,
Oh,
and I think the Vikings
the
have the
Rams.
Seahawks. Oh,
So
the
they have the Rams
Rams.
and you guys the
hmm
Seahawks. That's another difference
hmm
between your
The
schedules.
Falcons, maybe. We have the Falcons. Do they have the Buccaneers?
Yeah, I mean that's a big difference. That's a huge
hmm
difference. I mean the Buccaneers are way more of a competent team than the Falcons.
hmm
So I don't know. I think right now where I'd put the Lions is I feel like they are in line for a 2023 Eagle season.
Yeah.
Injuries coming up, replaced offensive and defensive coordinator. Um,
hmm
I know it shouldn't matter, Andrew, but if a team gets blown out of the preseason, that's just a really bad reflection on the coaches. You could complain
hmm
about the talent all the day in the world, but 34-7, like, are you serious? This is national
hmm
television, and that's the best performance you could give on live TV. Like,
And we just touched on it. Depth. That was all backups, but that says something. Especially these injuries piling up. Those backups are going to play, and those backups did not
well,
look good.
but the other part I throw out there is it was backups against backups. So don't tell me
Yeah.
that you shouldn't be concerned because you should be. Your backups
hmm
should look like the other team's backups. It should feel like a smaller, version
Yeah.
of a real
Should be
NFL game.
competitive.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe they right the ship this week. I just not feeling confident about
hmm
that, but still a lot of time. There's plenty of scenarios. I still remember when the Oakland Raiders, like 10 plus years ago, went 4-0 in the preseason. Everyone thought this is it. So
hmm
yeah,
Yep.
we'll
Yeah,
see,
for
man.
sure. And then there were some other little injuries going around, like Richton dislocated his pinky in the preseason game.
Yep.
So I think it's pretty much a done deal that Daniel Jones got that job.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I
I don't think there's
think this
anything.
preseason game was his shot to prove himself because I think the plan was like he was gonna play a half or something. He was gonna play a lot, and first drive dislocates his pinky. Then Daniel Jones takes over. Now Daniel Jones didn't look good. He was like 10 for 21, or it was like not great, but still, I think pretty much the job is his. Which is that a good thing or a bad thing? They're both like kind of guys. At least Daniel Jones has run competent offenses in the past. Has he been good? Not really, but he's ran competent offenses. Richardson hasn't shown that he can do that yet. So maybe it's a good thing overall. We'll see. But yeah.
That's
And then,
but
yeah, go ahead.
I think that the Colts' plan was for Jones to be Plan A. I can't
Yeah.
agree with that.
They went after him aggressively. Minnesota wanted him, but the Colts said no, we want him more. So,
Enjoy mediocrity. Best of
yep.
luck to you, Steichen. I don't know what your team's doing, and I
hmm
look back at it, man. I really don't know why Steichen left the Eagles. If this is what it was going to be, dude,
hmm
it's not worth it. Stay in the job that like you're doing amazing at. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just that whole thing's not. They've even made the playoffs since Steichen's been there. They got close. They had that one time they almost beat the
They got
Texans to
real
get in,
close. Yep.
and that was
Yep.
it. And then since then, it's just been downhill. It's not. I mean,
Hmm.
it's not all his fault, but we disagreed on Richardson a little bit. I did not think that guy was NFL starting material.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think he was out the gate. I thought that he could be developed, but he hasn't been. So, I mean, he's got all the physical tools in the world, but sometimes it looks like you just can't teach accuracy.
yeah, I don't think it's not just accuracy, man. It's mental toughness.
That
It
too.
just,
That's a big, big thing. And
it,
honestly, kind of a little sidetrack here. Um, and then I can touch on the suspension that Minnesota's dealing with. But mental toughness is huge. And that is the biggest difference, I think, between JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams in the NFC North.
yeah,
Physical tools, Caleb Williams wins. And there's no argument with me there. He has all the tools in the world. Crazy athletic, crazy good arm. Not to say JJ McCarthy doesn't have those tools, but Caleb wins. But mental toughness, I don't know. I don't think Caleb has it. He has shown that over and over in college and in the pros. There was times when he was got sacked or three and out or something, and he's on the bench just like with his head like, ugh, like I hate this. I hate my job. And you'll never see that from JT McCarthy. He'll be going to his teammates, talking to them, telling them what they need to do. Whether Caleb Williams is out there sitting by himself sulking.
mhm,
That is huge, huge difference. And then to touch on the other Minnesota news. So we knew it was coming. We knew that Jordan Addison was going to be suspended for 3 games. It was a kind of just a when, not if. And I'm kind of glad that it was the first 3 games because it's going to be
mhm,
tough. Jordan Addison's a phenomenal player, probably top 2 or 3 best number 2 receiver in the league. He's up there with Devontae Smiths, with the T. Higgins. He's in that range because he's had 19 touchdowns in 2 years. That's really good. And he's been killing it in camp. I mean, there's been chemistry with JJ and Addison like no other. But we're gonna miss him. He's gonna be very badly missed. We play the Bears, really good defense. Not a lot of people know they have a really good defense. So we're gonna miss him there. But I think our defense can carry us to a win against Caleb trying to learn a new system. So I think we'll be okay there. And then our second game is the Falcons. I don't truly believe in them yet. They got a lot of talent, but there's something not clicking there. There's something missing.
mhm,
I think we'll be fine there. We should start off 2-0 without Addison, and we'll still have JJ, even though he's not practicing. They're being extra cautious. He's out there running, he's out there jumping, he's out there celebrating with his teammates. I think they did this on purpose to not have any issues at all because they knew Addison was going to be suspended, so they knew they would need Jefferson out there to take 2, 3 guys over there so Hawkinson can be open in the middle. So I think we'll be okay with the Falcons. The Bengals game is going to be interesting because it is at home, and we can move the ball against that defense without Addison. But Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they already look great. They look great in that preseason game yesterday. So that's going to be a back and forth kind of a contest. We might lose that one. I would not be thinking the world ending if we lost that one. And then boom, we get Addison back. We go overseas. And I think we can handle the Steelers and the Browns. I don't think that's a problem. So I think we're going to at least be 4-1 going into our bye. And that's without Addison for 3 games. So I think that time frame couldn't be better. And he's acted so well this offseason. No issues. So hopefully that's behind him and he learns this lesson. There was a note from camp that the day before this suspension was announced, that Addison, like, he had a tough catch and he just missed it, and then that offense went off the field. The second team offense came on the field, and Addison looked very just almost depressed, just hand on his head, looking down on the field. Teammates were tapping his shoulder like it's going to be okay. He knew at that moment that he was suspended, it just wasn't announced yet, and he was feeling really defeated from that. I think that could be a turning point in him because he's had some off-field stuff, but now he's showing he's not playing. He's getting his game checks revoked, and this could affect his next contract. So I think he is going to be locked in for the rest of his career. I think this is going to be one of those I screwed up, never again kind of moments for him. But it's going to hurt. I think Hawkinson's going to have to really step up, which is why I'm really high on him in fantasy this year. Just saying. JJ McCarthy loves his tight ends, and Hawkinson's going to have 3 games without Addison. So that's big, and Hawkins looked good in camp. But I think we can at least be 2-1 without Addison. And then I don't have a super concern with the Steelers or the Browns as of right now, at least. Who knows? They might surprise us in the regular season, but right now, both neutral site games overseas, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be 4-1 going to our bye, ready for our gauntlet, which will be Eagles, Lions, Chargers, Ravens. We got a gauntlet after our bye. But if we can start 4-1, we'll be okay.
Well, another underrated thing I mentioned too, Andrew, is in deep leagues where you don't have any tight ends, Josh Oliver could be a good 3 game sub with Addison out.
Yes, because they're probably going 2 tight ends. You are completely right. And he's kind of under the radar. He's got great hands.
So I'm interested to see how that'll pan out for him. But I could see that.
Hmm.
I could see that being a 3 game option. Help you get a few points if you didn't
Hmm.
draft well at tight end, which happens. And
Yep.
just got to be on the hunt. Got to be on the hunt on the waiver wire. Got to look out for options.
Hmm.
So keep that person in mind.
Yeah, yeah. And for the Vikings specifically, when Addison's gone, it's going to be probably Jalen Naylor as the two. He is not a two. He's a good three, but he's not a two. So I wouldn't expect like Jalen Naylor to bump up to like fantasy starting caliber player. I wouldn't necessarily see that. He's had up and down camp. His problem is he has trouble with dropping some balls sometimes. He can get open
Yeah.
and he's fast, but sometimes he just can't pull it in, especially those contested catches. And you need to do that in this league. And then we have like Rondale Moore. We have a couple other guys that's showing decent at camp, but I don't see another receiver getting upgraded for those 3 games. I think, like you're saying, it's probably like the tight ends, maybe even the running backs getting a few extra catches.
Yeah, the running backs, that's another good place to look too. So um, it's not that long of a suspension. I think they can get around it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, 3 games isn't terrible, but it's enough to let Addison know, hey, you got to stop this. You got to get in
yeah,
line, and I think he will.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's all I had on that suspension. We knew it was coming, and it's official now. Get it done over with. Let Addison come back and just destroy the Steelers and Browns and get prepared for after a bye when we have the Lions and Eagles.
That's what you got to do. You just got to take it 1 game at a
Hmm.
time. So it's good that you guys aren't doing the Rishi Rice um, gig. That's not what you'd want.
Yeah, I think so. That's the next suspension coming. I think that's going to be more than 3 because he's getting jail
Yeah,
time. So that I think that might be like 5 or possibly higher. That's a big one coming down the pipe for the Chiefs.
yeah.
And then the last thought on for Rasheed Rice, I think that's going to be kind of bigger than people think. Because last year without Rice, that offense just didn't look the same. And I think that might happen again this year. I know Xavier Worth a year 2 is going to be better, but Kelsey's older. Can you really count on Hollywood Brown? So I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of a big deal. But difference is going to be this year he'll be there for the playoffs most likely. So that's when it really matters because they're a playoff team even without him. So when he gets back, that's when it'll make some hay.
That suspension's got to come out soon. I'm just surprised that it hasn't been revealed
Yeah,
yet.
I think it's taken longer probably because they have more to dig into as far as police reports, what all happened, all that stuff with Addison. That was a year ago, and that was they had all the data. They just had to get through court. She Rice has already been through court. They just got to look at all the stuff, and so it's probably coming any day now.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to follow. The Chiefs have got to, if it's a long suspension, which to me, I think 6 to 8 is possible.
Yeah, possible.
Um,
At least 5.
but they're going to have to be serious about planning for the future. The part I'm just curious
Hmm.
about for Rasheed Rice is, is that a turning point? Did like the lights come on in his head? I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Gotta
Um,
hope so.
but man, just I don't know. We'll see what happens for him.
Hmm.
One other note I didn't mention, Andrew, is my condolences to CJGJ. Sounds like he's going to be dealing with a pretty significant injury again.
Yeah, yeah. I think I heard that he avoided like an ACL, so it might not be season ending, but I think it's still potentially missing some time.
Yeah, I think that from what I heard, it was going to be at least a few games. Um, but yeah, they definitely could use him. That was a big addition for the Texans. I loved that move.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah. With
really,
that
really
move, the
smart.
Texans defense doesn't really have holes if you're looking at it each position by position, but with him maybe missing some time, that is a hole. Their safety spot. So,
Well, the part that's so weird is I mentioned this before, but I'm just going to bring it up again because it matters with the whole CB competition. We created a hole that we did not have to create to fill it
hmm
with the second round pick that is not even starting for us yet. When we could have used that pick to get another cornerback, which it looks like we could have really used right now. So
hmm
on the annoyed scale, I'm probably about a five about the CJGJ to CB2 situation because
hmm
if you already got a leak in your ship, you don't need to go make another hole.
hmm
And I just feel like that's exactly what we did. So, tad bit annoyed, Andrew. Tad bit annoyed. Um,
Totally fair. We'll see how it turns out. Um, well, that's all I really had to talk about this time. I know next time we'll have a lot more preseason to talk about because there's still some games on Saturday. There's my guys playing on Saturday. We'll see how they look. I'm really interested to see some of the second stringers and see how JJ McCarthy looks for probably one drive against the second team Texans defense. So
yeah,
excited about that. We'll see how it works. And then we'll see what other news comes out. Maybe we'll have Rasheed Rice news by the time we get on here again.
who knows? Well, we got that. You got the trade deadline will be coming up here soon. So there's a lot to cover. Lots coming up.
hmm And lots of fantasy stuff coming.
Yes. Can't wait. Can't wait. So excited,
hmm
man. So
Yeah.
close to real football being back.
It's just right around the corner. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Amen. Amen.
Yep, yep. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Gridiron Grind. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, ring that bell, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.
We'll see everybody.